The legend, the icon, Elvis. Is it good? Is it bad? Should you go? Should you not? Find out today. Hi, how you doing today? It's just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, Elvis, we are going to go at AMC South Barrington 24 at 5 o'clock in DOLBY. That's right, in DOLBY. If you don't know who I am, hello. Hi, my name is Jess. My YouTube channel, it's just Jess. Here we do movie reviews, giving you the biggest and best reviews of the movies that are releasing at the time. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Stick around towards the end because we are going to talk about Elvis. We're going to leave. So we have the king, the legend, the king of rock and roll, Elvis 2020-2022. Is this movie worth going DOLBY? Honestly, yes. Remember, Dolby Atmos is better sound, and this movie is all about sound. Of course, music, Elvis Presley. If you love music, rock and roll, and pop culture, not even just like the era, I mean, that's amazing as well too, but I'm saying also like the fashion, because even beginning, like, I was looking at it, I was like, whoa, like they're changing the logos in fashion, like it's all Elvis Presley, like the gold, the silver. I was like, damn, this movie definitely has style. Now, I put last here, plus or minus, the runtime of this movie is 2 hours and 39 minutes. And what I mean by that is, check this out. I love every single movie, of course, not only for YouTube, just for personal. So to me, buying this ticket, going into this biography, this biopic, to me, it is a plus because I learned so much more and you're seeing it in a Dolby screen. So of course, you get the recliner seats, you get the better Dolby Atmos, you get the clear crystal laser images. So to me, it is a plus because I felt like my money was well spent on this longer film with a good format. Now, if you don't, you're just still iffy about it because now the runtime is like, whoa, that's way too much, and probably regular would be fine. But I'm just warning you, if you go to a regular format theater, you won't get all the amenities that Dolby Atmos have. So if you're really invested in like Elvis or just want to learn about him, because I learned way more about him than just like not even watching this movie at all. To me, it is justified, the price tag, because it's like, whoa, like of course you see music in the intro video. So to me, it's all about, even for me, a guy that likes house music, but I can never underestimate what came before me. You know that like, what's that called? Like, I'm in the way because I'm standing in the time of giants or something. Like, it took for them to learn about us, about music and fashion, especially his hair. His hair is beautiful, even though my hair is not the best. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this movie is perfect for anyone that loves music. So if you like A Star Is Born, especially with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, or Bohemian Rhapsody, and We Are Friends probably too, even though that's more EDM, like any music lover would appreciate this type of movie because this is like a big deal. It's like Michael Jackson's, but instead of like that movie being more of a documentary, this is more of a movie. You literally point in time in there. So I was just like, whoa. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I knew of Elvis Presley, like even before this movie was made. I knew of him. I listened to some of his songs, like especially for show choir in school, or even like at my job when I'm a waiter. Sometimes at the mall, like you'll hear about him, and like sometimes you'll cross across articles like, oh, he died this day, like I think it was like August like 1977 or something, 1975, something like that. So I knew about him, but I never knew how big he was. And this movie just opened my eyes to the grand appeal, broad spectrum, larger than life persona. Not really persona, because that is really what he was. I never knew like how big he was until I saw this movie. Then I saw literally what was the extent of like his career, the way he is, and I'm like, whoa, it literally opened my third eye. So I'm very happy that this movie did that to me. Now Elvis 2020-22 takes us to the rise, the middle, and eventually the downfall of himself, his career, his music, his relationships, especially how this movie is a biopic movie of Elvis Presley, played by Austin Butler. And by the way, he does a phenomenal job for this role. Austin Butler really embodies the talent of Elvis, because I saw some of his music, some of his real stuff, like doing documentaries, doing research. And Austin Butler said in an interview on Jimmy Fallon, he was just like, oh, I had posters around him, and I'm like, whoa, he really did it. And he was learning a lot of the way he sounded on various interviews on E! Entertainment. That's great for me as like a person seeing this movie, because I really would want the actor to like really embody what they're trying to, like, I don't want to say portray, but like be, because it's like, of course Elvis is dead. So when he's looking down at us, he's like, damn, you better not mess up like my movie. Like, I'm sure like he's a little happy that they made it, but I didn't want like Austin Butler to be like, oh, half-assing it. Like, he does a phenomenal job, at least I feel like, because it really feels like, especially in Dolby, remember, I'm looking at that like some various concerts, various music, and it felt like alive. I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, it feels like you're living, like it feels like the beginning of an era back then, even though we know about him now. It also focuses on the business and the relationships between Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks and the glimpses of America in the 1950s, 60s, and early 70s. And it's narrated by Tom Parker throughout the whole movie, and it feels like it's third person. So in the beginning, Tom Hanks is Parker. He's like, oh, he hears some kid, some Elvis kid, some white boy that he's trying to get signed into record deals. And then when he goes sees him live, he tries to hunt him down. And we don't get to see a glimpse of Elvis until the back. And I thought that was great use of cinematography for the movie, because once he gets on stage, then we see his full outfit, his purple outfit, his pink outfit, and people are like, you should get your greasy hair. And in the beginning, people are like, oh, he looks weird, his clothing, he has like a little bit girly makeup. But then there's a good line in the movie when Tom Hanks' character says, and then I saw in that moment that man transformed the whole stadium into like raging fans. And then I remember the first time we saw him, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So this deals with not just his life, but also America around that his life. So we also get to segregations, Martin Luther King's speech, and the assassination of John F. Kennedy, that era. So we don't get to see that, but we hear about it through the various dialogue and even some like TV screenshots during this time of the movie. I mean, this could be wrong, but I didn't know how, like, the movie said that he took inspiration by black culture, that he was friends with B.B. King, which played by Calvin Harrison. They even took pictures together. And so I'm just like, well, like, I didn't know he went to the like black culture community, learned their dances and learned how they sing, but influenced his own because he was from Memphis. So I was like, whoa, he literally took them and like mixed his together, which was awesome because I didn't know like anything about him, like where he lived, what his ideals were. And he's so close to his mother, to his family. Like he says in the beginning, he's like, I'm not gonna do anything that puts my family in poverty again. And so I'm just like, whoa, so he's trying to do like the right thing here. But of course, then Hollywood's gonna like gonna eat him alive. But in the beginning, of course, Tom Parker sees him as his destiny. Like he has to be with him, he has to like sign his record deal. And then this is when we get our first appearance of Austin Butler doing whatever it is that Elvis Presley did in the 1950. I think 1952, his first stage appearance. And then you see like the crowd being like shaken up, like the women, the girls are like, ah, they're screaming. And it's like the first time Elvis Presley had like this magic appeal, the sex appeal. And like in the beginning, you see some of it in the trailers, but in the movie, when he really starts singing like this first appearance, like the women are like scared to like scream. But then after all, it just changes. Like everyone starts screaming, ah, everyone loves it. I don't know. And like I love everything about Elvis because of this movie, like his clothing, the way he talks, his greasy hair, and like you just get to learn about him because I didn't know a lot of things, especially in this movie. So this movie takes you, of course, after his first appearance, then he gets his record deals, then he gets with Tom Hanks' character, Tom Parker, then he starts traveling, making record deals, like making more music. But there's a point in the movie where he does go back to his black culture folks, like his friends, and he's like, I don't know what to do, because in the middle of the movie, he does this like old Elvis, new Elvis, like the new Hollywood doesn't really like him. They really want to throw him in jail for wiggling. And I love one of the quotes he says in the movie, he says, if I can't move, I can't sing. And the way he says it is like, whoa. And when he does like concerts, there's one point in the movie where the Hollywood, or I mean, life is trying to control him not to dance because they think it's like bad or something. And to me, what I think it was is just that people were being jealous of him because of some Elvis Presley. He's young, he's good looking, he's like taking all the women or the females. And I feel like that's why. I mean, there was probably more things. I mean, we'll probably really never, I mean, we kind of know the truth, but like we probably wouldn't never know exactly really what their intentions were. But to me, I just feel like they were jealous. And they were like, oh, they're gonna push him in jail because you can't wiggle, you can't sing, you have to like portray what the media was. But it's like, and then Elvis in the movie, he's like, oh, they're trying to change me to the new Elvis, they want him to the old Elvis. And then he goes to Germany because he has to, because of that. I just thought it was fascinating how the movie gave us all this, but in music concerts form, and even the dialogue between his crew, because I didn't want him to stop being the way he is. And then he goes to Germany, and then he finds true love, and then he gets married, and I never knew he had a kid. And then he was married for like 6 years, and like his girlfriend is gorgeous. And it's like, because me, I'm always fascinated about love, so I'm just like, how did this larger than persona guy like get swept up? Or like, what was the woman lucky enough to like steal him for a while to like keep him hold down? And the movie really does talk about that, and I thought that was awesome because I didn't know he was gonna be put in jail because of the way he dances or the way he moves. They were probably just jealous, but at the same time, this is the first time America's probably watching him like, whoa, this is a new dancer, this is a new singer, like he's making a lot of money, like best thing, I don't want to say the best thing that's happened to America, but like the top tier, like famous person. And it's like, whoa, they're trying to like shut him down. Like, nah, bro, like they're probably just jealous. I mean, all the females, I saw the documentary, like they really went crazy for him, and I'm like, who wouldn't? Back then, first time you seen that sex appeal, like moving like that, like wiggling, like of course, like I would be like, damn, like this guy got moves, like I could learn from him. And one thing too, I want to know, every time we get to like new concerts or new music, it's nice to see this in Dolby, because like remember, Dolby Atmos is mostly better sound. Now yes, IMAX is still a good sound, but IMAX is louder sound. Dolby Atmos is more clearer sound, and it's more like surround sound. So yeah, I do like for IMAX movies, but this movie was only available, the best premium format in my area, in like 50-mile radius was Dolby. So I was like, remember, every time you see this, he does new songs. We go to his era, like all his ways, even some of the documentary style hairstyles is reimagined in this movie. Like the way he is with his cast and crew members. And in Dolby, it just reinvigorates to see it in that format because I'm just like, whoa, like it's such an amazing, like it felt like I was there in concert, like there with him, like with the music, and it was loud and it was like, whoa, people cheering, even my people around me, like every time I went to the bathroom, because it's long, I was like, whoa, I wanted to dance. And I was just like, oh, and especially with the love, the marriage, and of course that's prevalent like at least like second half throughout the film because in the beginning it was just him single, like jumping from concert to concert trying to make a name for himself. And I was like, whoa. But then we also get to the struggles of like how Hollywood's changing him. I didn't know that Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks, is like stealing 50%. It tells us in the lawsuits later like he has a gambling addiction, and in the documentary that is reimagined but still true in his life. One time in the documentary it says Tom Parker and his, I can't believe his father was like the manager in the movie. I mean, it could be in real life, but he says that one time Elvis Presley, because he's doing too much like drugs and like we get an insight of like the drugs he's using, the prescription drugs, the uppers, ecstasy, I remember one time in the movie he gave him like a little circle pill and it looked like an ecstasy pill, and I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, you need to kick, and I was like, dude, this is like, I mean, in rock and roll, you think about it, it's like, bro, he was little, he was young, and in the movie he says he comes down, right? And this is, they talk about this in the documentary, and this is not where he died. I thought it was interesting because it was happened in real life. So in the documentary, they said that they found Elvis like he just fainted or something, and then Tom Parker or his business manager or whatever, two different people, they're like, oh, that Mattis is that man gets on stage tonight, and then other people were like, no, he should go to a hospital, and they inject him something, and that's actually true. Like they put him in ice bucket, and the movie really does that. They put him in ice bucket 2 times just to sober him up, and then they inject him, and then he does a show like completely normal, better than normal. I'm like, whoa, like to me, I'm just like, I mean, yeah, we probably like blacked out in our whole life, but it's like, wow, like now you're getting, now I would be scared. Like if I fainted, I would not want some drug to get me I mean, but it's different though. I mean, back then he was probably like having more like aura, so I don't know, but I mean, I just thought it was amazing, even though it was a bad thing that in the documentary it was real, and then the movie it was real. You get what I'm trying to say? Like they really pulled real stuff. He didn't like faint on the room like in the documentary, but he did faint in like heading to a show. And I thought that was cool because he wanted to go world tour and they didn't want to, and all the legalities between him, his business manager, his marriage fell apart too. Like the movie really made me learn about him just by watching, and I'm gonna go watch it again because I really liked it. And like, I don't know, yeah, let's be honest, the runtime can be a little bit too long, but I never felt like, to me, I'm just like, okay, well, it's not another time we're gonna have another Elvis Presley movie maybe in like 10 years or something. But to me, I was just like, yeah, but I feel like for most people it might be a little bit too drawn out because it's too long. Also, this movie features like original soundtrack and score by various artists and remixes towards the movie, like when he's like walking and stuff, so it's not all his music, even though we do get a re-recordings of his music. And also they said they use Austin Butler's voice, especially the old Elvis, and sometimes they mix it. This movie has a lot of flair to it. Thought it was a tremendous job. I can't wait to see it again, and I really liked it, honestly. Like I see a lot of critics, they're saying that it's not good, but to me, even a guy who's 27 that grew up not with this, remember, I didn't grow up with this, I grew up with tech house, house music, so EDM is where I live. But even being appreciated of the music that came before me, because it probably absolutely influenced like the way we dress now. Elvis Presley was an amazing movie. But guys, Elvis 2022, I'm gonna give this a B+. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Do me a favor, if you like this type of content, maybe consider subscribing and hitting that like button so you keep up to date with the movie news, entertainment reviews. With that, take care.